This is a self-portrait of Jeff as a virus. Because I can. I used to work for the City and County of Honolulu's Department of Parks and Recreation as the drama specialist. Yes, I did. And part of that was to be an official at the Valentine's Day dance down in our big Neil Blaisdell Convention Center. It was like a prom for seniors. But they got really duded up, and they'd have red and white sashes, and they'd give them, of course, a red rose, and they'd escort them out, and everybody sat in big giant chair circles for the dancing afternoon. Macarena. It's there that I last saw her. HANNA KANEAKOA BASSO. She was old when I joined the department, and 30 years later when I retired, she was still old. She always looked the same. That gorgeous dark brown skin of an elder Hawaiian, her hair all bundled up in a white bun with a flower. That was Hannah. She was always impeccably presented, beautifully dressed, and always genteel and shining and bright. At the Valentine's Day dance, I said, "Hannah!" "Hello, Jeff. Long time no see." I came and sat by her and I said, "Hannah, that story is so beautiful." "Yes, and true." Hannah and I knew what story I was referring to. Because way before that, maybe 20 years before, she and I were sitting on a bench. I was talking about storytelling, and she said, in her way, "My family comes from Kauai, from Haʻena." Haʻena. Haʻena. Please say it. Haʻena. Haʻena. The epic tale of Hi'iaka Ikapoloa Pele, the story about Pele and her sister Hi'iaka, is like this. Pele falls asleep on the beach on the Big Island. She drifts as a dream, flies to Kauai, and falls in love for 3 days and nights without eating with a handsome man named Lohiau, and then through time and space continuum jumps back in her body and wakes up on the beach of, "Oh, I had a most wonderful dream, and I'd like to have a little mission. Did somebody do something for me?" Well, Hi'iaka says, "Yeah, I'll do what you want." And she says, "Go to Kauai, get that guy, and bring him back to me on the Big Island." Okay. And so the whole epic tale, one of the master literary works from Hawaii, is that as she journeys, she encounters monsters and all kinds of ogres and till she finally gets to Haʻena, where there's a cliff. She's been told that Lohiau is dead, but she knows through her clairvoyance that he still lives. She has found where he's supposed to be buried. It's banana stalks. And she knows that his spirit is calling her up in the top of a cave in Haʻena. And on a blistering day, she stands at the face of that cliff, and through her magical powers, she starts to climb up the sheer rock face to the cave in the middle of the cliff. And up in the cave are two mo'o, two lizard ladies, and they're looking down. And they dive down at Hi'iaka, who's climbing up the cliff, and Hi'iaka pushes them off the cliff. They dive down, they crash onto the rocks. The tide comes up to wash their body away. Hi'iaka, looking down from the cliff, sees the bodies of the two mo'o ladies who have been pounded and split on the rocks, but they don't get washed away. Their bodies recoalesce, and the two mo'o ladies start to climb up the cliff to grab at her and tear at her flesh and bite her. when she finally pushes those two Mo'o ladies off of the cliff of Haʻena, conquering them, and finally gets inside the cave, she's like, Lohiau, where is your spirit? I know it is here. Deep in the darkness, I am here. She follows the voice into the darkness and comes unto a small calabash, a pu'olo, wrapped in tea leaf, a gift basket. She knows it is the spirit of Lohiau. The spirit in Hawaiian literature is expressed as a calabash of light, and over it arches a rainbow. Everyone please go. But that's not the story I wanted to tell you. I just wanted to tell you why, when she said, Haʻena, my family is from Haʻena on Kauai, I went, I heard this story from my auntie. It happened to her. When she was 14 years old, 15, young and blooming, the whole family was picking opihi. Opihi are little mussels that attach themselves to rocks. It's a delicacy in Hawaiian cuisine. You go with a knife and try and pry them off, but they grow right on the edge of the sea on the rocks, so that you have to watch out because the sea comes up, and if you're not careful, it'll knock you. Opihi man, a mellow swell is coming your way, bump, bump, bump. It's a popular song. Opihi man, another swell is coming your way, bump, bump, bump. You watch out. Don't turn your back to the ocean. And I've watched them. They hold on to the rocks as the waves wash over them and back. They're picking opihi, the whole family. And suddenly, where is she? She's gone. Oh, they call out, Malia, Malia, Malia. Oh, away, away. Oh, she's been washed off the rock. She's not with the family. She probably hit her head. She's been taken out to sea. They spend the whole day searching for the daughter, the young one who's gone. They think she's dead. They go home and they mourn. But the father has the feeling that she's not gone. And he goes to see the kahuna. Now, for you who don't know what that means, kahuna are the magic men. Everything physical has a spiritual quality, and if you're going to deal with things in the physical world, you got to deal with things in the spiritual world too. These guys can advise you, and they know the magic way. Magic. Invisible, invisible. Kahuna.
Yes. She lives. And if you want her to return to you, you need to prepare a pu'olo, a gift package.
He tells him what to put in there.
And to take tea leaf.
You heard about it when it was the spirit with the rainbow.
And take it down to the sea. Put it on the edge where the waves come up. The last place where you saw her. Turn around, go back to your house. Don't look back.
He did exactly what he was told. He made the calabash, he wrapped the tea leaf, he went to the edge of the sea, he put it where he last saw her. He went home, didn't look back. 2 days later, he was sitting in his chair when he heard the screen door open. He turned around. There was his daughter, drenched with sea water. Daddy, I loved him. Why did you make me come back? Huh?
And my auntie that this happened to told us the story.
Yes, she was picking opihi. Yes, the wave came up and washed her off and into the sea. Yes, she could not find the bottom. Yes, she was confused. She was very confused when she felt something come up to her and slap her on the side and hold her against itself. It went down and down. She thought it was a fish, maybe a shark. It came down and it came up. She said it was into a cave, that there was a twilight. She could see things, but she couldn't tell much. And then down again to the second time, up into a second cave. Again, the twilight. This time she looked to the side. It was a shark. Down again. The third one she came up with, and now the shark was a man who took her hand and led her out into the twilight world where he lived. She said it was described as twilight everywhere, that it had kalo taro fields, but that it was twilight, and he took her to a hale, a little house. He started a fire. She said that he looked like a man in his body, 2 arms, 2 legs, strong, but that his face was different than men on earth. His eyes were wider. His nose was gone. He had no ears. He had only a little hair. And his mouth stretched across his entire face. And he had the teeth of shark. He was very kind to her. He cooked her taro, kalo, gave her fish to eat, sat at a distance. They talked for a long time into the evening, and then he said, well, I think it's time for you to go to bed now. I'll see you in the morning. Just sleep right where you are. Good night. And he left. And she said with tears running down her face, Daddy, I didn't want him to go. The next day he came again. They went up into the mountains. There was waterfalls. There was everything on earth that she knew in a world of on Kauai, except that there were men in kalo fields, all with the shark's teeth, features, and no women. They came down in the afternoon and into the evening. Again, he cooked her a meal, enjoyed company, talked at length, and when he went to go, she grabbed his leg and said, don't leave me. Stay with me. But he laid on the mat next to her and did not touch her. The third day they went to the sea and enjoyed each other's company and did all the things that boys and girls would do in the surf. Came home, again at dinner, again the evening, I'll go, no. And this time he laid by her, but they did touch. And when she woke up the next morning, he was weeping out of his wide eyes and said, your father wants you back. I'm going to take you home. No, no. Yes. And he made her go to that tunnel and pushed her down into the water and dove in after her and held her by his side. 1 cave, 2 caves, 3rd cave. By then the human form was gone. He was a shark again. He swam her into the edge of Haʻena, let her go in the surf. She tried to come back into the surf. He pushed her back. She tried to go deeper, pushed her back over and over again. Finally he came so close to her she could see his shark eye, splashed with a fin, water on her face, and he was gone. That's when she came home. I loved him, Daddy. I loved him. Yes, said Hannah at the Valentine's Day dance. All true. It happened to her. She told it to me. And what HANNA KANEAKOA BASSO, that gorgeous elder with her hair white pulled up and a flower, told to me, I just told to you.